Today, we're doing a tier list to rank every invention Stewie has ever made. This is the first time we've done a video in this format, so comment down below what we should do next. Kicking things off with the first ever episode, Death Has a Shadow, which has two notable inventions: the mind control device and the sandwich laser.
Excellent! The mind control device is nearing completion.
Aw, baby's first invention. I remember building my first mind control device. The device is Stewie's main plot point in this episode, but the vile woman keeps getting in his way.
Mark my words, when you least expect it, your uppance will come.
Her comeuppance never does arrive in this episode, but you can't say Stewie wasn't at least trying.
What the deuce are you staring at? It's tuna fish. And nothing else.
And if you didn't know, tuna fish are always packing. You definitely want to cross the street when you see one coming your way. Despite his intellect, failure kinda seems to be a running trend for Stewie.
I shall end your oppressive reign of matriarchal tyranny.
Oh, you can play with your toys tomorrow, honey.
But by the end of the episode, he does finally get to use his device on a judge.
Let us see how the iron constitution of American justice fares against the device.
And it kinda works? Somewhat? Honestly, it's hard to tell whether it works or if the judge just changes his mind.
I can't separate a kid that young from his father. It's unjudgmental.
To be fair, I think most people would be inclined to say yes with a gun to their face. As you'll see, Stewie would try out mind control multiple times in the series, and this was a decent start. We're gonna put it in B, as it's not the most effective, but it gets points for being his first. As for the sandwich laser, it's gonna go in C. Not the flashiest, but hiding a laser in a sandwich is a step above. Maybe invest in a longer sandwich next time. And in the following episode, I Never Met the Dead Man, we also get a twofer with the ray gun and the weather control device.
Can you count to 3?
Oh, indeed I can. 1, 2, 3!
The ray gun would become an iconic part of Stewie's branding in the early years of the show, with its appearance changing and altering slightly over the years.
Do you think I'm an idiot? Huh? Do you?
Not at all, sir. In fact, that's why we're putting the ray gun in the A rank. Sure, it may not get used as much as you'd think, but it was an iconic part of Stewie's identity for years, so we gotta show it some love. But let's get to the star invention of the episode, the weather control device.
Forecast for tomorrow. A few sprinkles of genius with a chance of doom.
So, do I need an umbrella or not? And with a little ingenuity, Stewie succeeds, using his toy and a satellite to create a device that causes the weather to change in an instant.
Fare thee well, broccoli.
Oh yeah, he's using this to destroy all broccoli on Earth. I respect the hustle, but it kinda feels like using a nuke to kill a bug. And honestly, this is another A for us. The weather device ends up being quite effective, while maintaining some of Stewie's childish habits with the CNC toy. It's a solid encapsulation of what a character like this would be building, melding the youthful with the technologically advanced. Basically, if it's built like a Kids Next Door weapon, it gets points from us. And the following episode, Chitty Chitty Death Bang, sees Stewie take some inspiration from Star Wars with his carbonite freeze gun. So Stewie's first birthday is coming up, but he fears that the doctor who delivered him will return to finish his original goal.
He's returning to rectify his mistake and put me back in the womb.
An insane thought, but maybe the doctor has his reasons. Maybe Stewie forgot to turn the lights off when he left and has been running up the electric bill. But he plans to escape before the man in white can catch him.
Come to Managua, the mecca of mercenaries. I must prepare for my journey.
But Stewie's escape is cut short because of the fact he's an unaccompanied minor at the airport.
Henry, I have a lost little boy.
Well, hey there, little fella. Why don't you come with me?
But this kind old man actually somehow convinces Stewie to return home and face the doctor head on. So Stewie repays the man accordingly.
I only hope my heartfelt thanks will keep you warm as you spend the next 10 years in frozen carbonite!
He even hits the Han Solo pose and everything. Hopefully he too can find a kind slug mobster to take him in and put him on display. So this is a pretty quick invention that's kinda cool to see but doesn't play much of a role in the episode itself. Respectfully, it's gonna go in C tier as it's good but nothing spectacular. And in the episode after that, Mind Over Murder, we get to see Stewie's first crack at a time machine. So Stewie's going through his teething phase, leaving his mouth in searing pain.
I order you to kill me at once!
Oh, honey, I know you're hurting, but mommy has to clean up the house, all right?
Plus, killing the toddler is usually a job for the nanny or the dog. Maybe check in with Brian to see if he's busy. I'm sure he'd do it.
I wish I could make the pain go away sooner, but I can't turn time forward.
No! But perhaps I can!
I bet you thought Stewie was always using that big, bulky time machine, huh? That's actually the second version, while we get to see the first prototype here. But when Stewie becomes tipsy after using whiskey to help his teething, he accidentally reveals his designs to a young woman.
My time manipulator employs axioms from the quantum theory of molecular propulsion.
Well, it's certainly not the weirdest thing anyone said while trying to pick women up at the bar. Maybe keep axioms and propulsions in your back pocket next time you're out at a bar. It just might make your night, or get you laughed at. And eventually, his schematics get shared with a whole host of people.
A time machine? Well, sure, here's where the flux capacitor goes.
Oh, I can't wait to build one of these on my own.
That guy's about to pull a Thomas Edison and take credit for Stewie's invention. So to protect the secrecy of the invention, Stewie must use it to go back in time.
It might just be possible to reverse time's heady flow and undo ever having drawn those damnable blueprints.
And so he does just that, returning to the beginning of the episode, albeit in a less flashy way than we're probably used to.
Honey, I'm begging you, just drop Chris off at his soccer game and come right home.
Well, we didn't get to see the dawn of man or the ultra-advanced future, but you gotta start small, you know? So we're gonna give this version of the time machine a B. While future models would go on to be much cooler, the original does play an impactful role in the story and shows just how capable Stewie can be at bending space and time. Can't invent a device to help with teething apparently though. But Stewie would once again revisit mind control for a second go-round when he grows tired of being looked over because of his size and the story on page 1. So while the family is visiting Brown University, Stewie gets turned away from being in the chemistry lab.
This is just for big people. Why don't you come back in about, 17 years?
Oh, so now there's a height requirement for science? Well, sorry everyone under 5'9", off to the mines with you.
Hey, dude, you want some of these?
I say, here's the solution to my troubles.
Chris or the Fig Newtons? Fig Newtons are good, but I don't know if they're fix all your troubles kinda good. So Stewie places his latest mind control device on the back of Chris's head, giving him control of his brother's motor functions and speech.
Eviscerate the proletariat.
Eviscerate the proletariat!
And with Chris's height, Stewie finally has access to the entire world, except for buying alcohol or cigarettes, joining the army, driving a car, or renting an apartment. You know, all the not important stuff.
I require a hand-operated buzzsaw capable of cutting through a human sternum.
What?
It's for a school project.
We were just dissecting owl poop when I was in school, but now they're cutting off people's heads? Man, I was born in the wrong generation. But when Stewie tries to use Chris to kill Lois, some pesky microwaves end up shorting out his signal. I don't know what that microwave told Chris, but it seems like the appliance might have it out for Stewie.
Aw, honey, he wasn't doing it to you. He was doing it for you.
While this mind control device lacks the point-and-shoot capabilities of the original, this one seems far more effective, giving you direct control over what the target says and does. We're gonna put it in B, as it does have some kinks to work out, but it's a step in the right direction for the little maniac. But Stewie would give it a try once again, and Brian does Hollywood, but this time with the hope of invoking mass hypnosis on the entire world. So Lois thinks Stewie would be perfect for a show called Kids Say the Darndest Things. Well, he certainly does say some things, but not the kind of stuff fit for national television.
Well, that could be the ideal place to unleash my mass hypnosis device on the unsuspecting public.
Stewie, television is already a mass hypnosis device. You're just putting a hat on a hat at this point. But Stewie manages to make it onto the show alongside, oh god, Bill Cosby.
I had an uncle named Stewie and he used to sell bicycles.
Sometimes going back and watching these old episodes is like a fever dream. Like, what do you mean this guy had a show where he just made funny noises with children?
What do you think candy is made out of?
Sunshine and farts. What the hell kind of question is that?
So Stewie decides to just skip right to his plan and tries to bring the whole world under his control.
Good evening, world. From this moment on, I will be your...
Man, it takes a healthy amount of hindsight to realize how messed up the idea of Bill Cosby having a hypnosis device is. Luckily, he doesn't do anything to land him life in prison, but instead brings Stewie under his control.
You like a jump rope, don't you?
I like jump rope.
Yeah, we're thinking a D on this one. It's the least effective of the trio of attempts that doesn't end up affecting the story in the most impactful way. Plus, the whole Bill Cosby thing kinda unfairly puts a sour taste in our mouths, but the less we got to see of that man's face, the better. But unfortunately, we got to see even less of Stewie's torture device in the episode The Kiss Scene Round the World. So Stewie's enjoying the wonders of his new tricycle when he comes across a kid's most dangerous predator. No, not Herbert, a bully.
It's cool. Too cool for you?
No, I think it's right where I'm at.
The poor, oblivious fool doesn't know that he's in the middle of a Grand Theft Auto. That's at least worth one wanted star.
He wasn't taking it for a test ride, he was just taking it.
You mean...
Mm-hmm.
This calls for a little revenge. You know, after the obligatory crying and diaper wetting. So Stewie tracks the bully down to have a little chat with him.
Your cruelty merely stems from some deep-seated inner pain. And so the obvious remedy is a healthy dose of outer pain!
Yeah, a therapist probably would have told him the same thing. So Stewie gets the bully nice and comfy in the basement and readies himself to extract the whereabouts of his trike.
Very well. I have other ways of obtaining the truth.
Alright, what are we working with here? It's got a claw, a buzzsaw, a bear trap, and a spatula, maybe? I guess torture by getting grilled and flipped like a burger would be pretty bad. But unfortunately, Lois steps in with Stewie's trike before he gets to use the device.
What's going on down here?
We're playing house.
Ted Bundy's house, maybe. This was before Stewie found being tied up rather exciting. But anyway, even though the device looks cool, we're gonna give it a D. We don't really see it in action or understand how exactly it works, so it's going to the bottom of the list. Sometimes you don't need all those bells and whistles. Simplicity is king, after all. But in a Mission Impossible, we get two pretty substantial inventions from Stewie, a Peterbot and a microchip. So both of these inventions were created in response to Stewie finding out that Lois and Peter are planning on having another baby.
Oh, a new baby. That's wonderful. Call me when Kojak starts. What?
But this house isn't big enough for two babies. Mostly because having Peter and Chris there already puts the house over baby capacity.
As God is my witness, from this day forward, Peter and Lois shall not conceive.
So Stewie's first attempt involves making a robotic replica of Peter.
Pardon me, you with the severe aesthetic deficiencies.
Hey, ugly!
Stewie intends to use the robot to sully Peter's good name, though I don't think he needed to go through all this trouble. He's perfectly capable of ruining it himself.
Where'd you go, my little pumpkin eater?
To the can, because kissing you made me barf.
See? Are you telling me that's not what Peter's foreplay already sounds like? But one wrong move from the kids sends this Peter out the window.
Hey, watch it!
Peter!
What?
Well, he seems fine. Best not to question what you just saw. So we think we're gonna put this Peterbot in the C tier. It's okay for what it is, but Stewie would go on to invent some much better robots later down the line, including one of Peter, hint hint.
Very well then, if I can't stop them from the outside, I'll stop them from the inside.
This is Stewie's microchip, a vessel that allows him to shrink down to an unnoticeable size and comes equipped with a ton of firepower.
I'm afraid you're in a no-fly zone.
By God, that fly probably had a family! Stewie should probably go after them next. I hate flies.
As was your fate, Mr. Fly, so is the fate of every sperm in Peter's body.
He's not lying. Stewie enters Peter's body and all but wipes out the micro forces he comes up against. All but one.
What the deuce?
But Stewie and his maybe brother put aside their differences so that Stewie can escape in his ship. No, yeah, just park it in the middle of your bedroom. Lois will probably just think it's made out of Legos. But we think this one definitely belongs in the A tier. It's highly effective, it's decked out for more dangerous missions, and it plays a pretty pivotal role in the story. It's a shame he never brought this out again, but I could imagine being inside Peter would scar you from ever doing that again. But Stewie would opt to go a bit more medieval the next time he tried to kill Lois using a floating drill machine in the courtship of Stewie's father. So Stewie's fed up with not getting enough attention and turns to violence.
Damn it, woman, pay attention to me!
Ow! Stewie, that's not nice!
Well, if you think that's not nice, just wait until she sees what he cooked up for later. Ah, taking a little inspiration from Dr. Eggman, I see. Though if I were Stewie, I probably would have picked a villain who actually wins his fights.
Help! Somebody! I'm blacking out! Ah! Ah! Brian, help me!
Well, you finally got that attention you ordered, and it looks like he's getting a side order of concussion to go along with it. We're gonna give this one a C, mostly because we really like the design. Sure, it doesn't succeed in its mission, but we're suckers for a big drill. And that's why Megalon is the best kaiju. And when it comes time to get his money, Stewie decides that a flamethrower is the best course of action in Patriot games. So Brian ends up losing a bet on a celebrity boxing match between Mike Tyson and Carol Channing. You thought she was gonna lose? Look at those eyes. Those are the eyes of someone who stared into the abyss and the abyss looked away.
I don't believe this. I just lost a $50 bet.
But when Stewie comes to collect, Brian doesn't have the money quite yet.
Here's a suggestion. Have the money by tomorrow and there won't be any problems.
Nothing wrong with that, just a very polite, non-threatening suggestion. Does Brian listen?
Where's my money? You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
Of course not. Stewie did ask him nicely though, but I don't think Brian is really getting the full picture, so Stewie decides to turn the heat up on him.
Stewie, listen, this is crazy. You got, oh my God!
And I did mean that literally. It looks to be of the M2 flamethrower variety, though it's designed for someone of his stature. A baby of culture who enjoys the classics, no doubt. Thankfully, this finally makes Brian get the picture.
All right, let's go to the bank.
This one's going in the C tier. Flamethrowers are always cool, though it's not one of the more creative or impressive devices he's whipped up. But Stewie would create something much more impressive when he went to war with Bertram, bringing multiple stealth bombers into the mix in sibling rivalry. So Stewie's enjoying ruling the playground like a mob boss, but his reign becomes threatened when his intellectual equivalent arrives in the world.
How the deuce did you get out of Peter's testicles?
He donated sperm.
Gross.
Yeah, the less I get to think about Peter and the way his body works, the better. But there can only be one super genius toddler on the playground.
You leave me no choice but to declare war!
And we're not talking about throwing sand or pushing kids off swing sets. Stewie decides to go full-on Modern Warfare 2 on Bertram.
We're going to launch a massive airstrike against Bertram and his army. Behold the Armada!
Not really sure if those are going to fulfill the stealth part of the name, being out in the open like that, but gotta say, we're still impressed.
You press the smiling duck to take off, the cow with the bow tie to fire weapons, and the clown face is just a clown face.
Copied piece for piece from how the US builds theirs. So a simple baby or high school dropout could fly it.
What took you so long?
What took you so ugly?
These are the same kind of fighting words that have gotten us into world wars before. But the battle between the bombers and the attack choppers eventually ends in a stalemate slap fight. And this one is getting a B for Bomber. Not exactly the most creative choice, but a highly impressive one nonetheless. Stewie has a promising future as a weapons engineer unless he crashes out in college like some of us. Not me, but you know, some of us. But Stewie would try his hand again at robotic replicas, creating Stewie and Brian bots to cover for them, and Bango was his name-o. So when Brian and Stewie are watching TV, they notice a very familiar looking man on the news.
What would you like to rename San Francisco?
Well, given the wonderful shoe shopping, I would cast my vote for Heaven.
Yeah, he does kind of look familiar. But this is just what everyone in California looks like. It's something in the water, I think.
Almost looks like he could be your father. He could be my father.
Well, good to know Stewie isn't growing out of that head shape. He's got to be doing neck crunches every day just to keep that thing up. So Brian and Stewie decide to hitch a ride with Quagmire to California to see if that man is his real father, but they'll need to make sure the family doesn't know they're gone.
Damn you, vile woman. Blast. What the deuce?
I am a tool.
Wow, they know all of their iconic catchphrases. But unfortunately, we don't get to see them interact with the family at all in this episode. For that, we think these clankers belong in D. Maybe if they had more of an impact, they'd be higher, but from what we got of them, they can hang out in the scrapyard. But in Road to Rupert, Stewie would make something a bit more impressive. Rocket skis with a nice little retractable cabin attachment. So things first kick off with Brian accidentally selling Rupert to a man at a garage sale.
Brian, where's Rupert? I just left him here to watch my things. Uh-oh.
Famous last words. Normally, Stewie would grind Brian up to use his stuffing for a new bear, but Brian decides to help track down the man.
He moved. He's gone. Rupert's gone. Wait a minute, look. The moving truck.
That guy just couldn't leave Quahog until he visited one last yard sale. So the duo journey all the way to Colorado, traveling by foot, car, and helicopter until they end up at the man's front door.
I'm sorry, but that bear belongs to Timmy. Now please leave.
I mean, he did spend a whole whopping $1 on Rupert, so I can understand why he's hesitant to part with him. But Stewie decides to present a challenge for the bear.
How about a ski-off?
What?
You heard me. First one down the mountain wins.
So it's the baby versus a champion skier. But skiing isn't about age, talent, or experience. It's all about style.
Oh no! If only I had rockets in my skis! Oh wait, I totally have rockets in my skis!
Not only that, but he's equipped to win this race in comfort because the skis also have their own little lodge equipped to them.
Tea, sir.
Oh, thank you, Crone. You're so pleasant.
So, does that guy just live in the skis full time? I guess I've seen worse places to live, but I just hope he has tree insurance. Even with all of that tech, Stewie still couldn't win the race. But it's not the skis that were the most useful thing in the bunch, it was the butler.
Oh, Crone!
I think I saw that same skiing technique at the Olympics one year. This invention is an A, being one of the few that we would absolutely want to own. Rocket skis are one thing, but the addition of the lodge and the butler gives it a unique and classy touch that definitely earns some points with us. And Stewie would continue to go big with the invention of his simulation machine and an orb that makes you switch bodies. So this episode and the episode before it actually take place inside a simulation that Stewie built. Through it, he can see what it would be like if he finally conquered the world.
All right, sir, your presidential portrait is finished.
Let me see. Ah, excellent.
You know, you didn't have to take over the world to get that done. Some guy on Fiverr could probably do it for cheap. But while he thinks he's gotten everything he's wanted, it doesn't end well for the mad toddler.
It's just been revoked.
The simulation was spot on with Peter misusing a killer final line though. But Stewie takes this as a learning experience, realizing he shouldn't rush into his goals so quickly.
I suppose I'm not ready to kill Lois or take over the world. Yet.
So we're gonna give this device an A. True, it sometimes does feel like a cheap cop-out to have a story be revealed as a simulation at the end, but it does allow for plenty of what-if scenarios. The device even makes a larger scale appearance in Forget-Me-Not, where it's used on multiple people. Oh yeah, there's one more device worth mentioning in this episode.
Huh. Guess it doesn't do anything.
Well, that seems odd.
I don't know. Judging by that light, you may want to get a brain scan after this. But yeah, it's a device that swaps people's bodies. Not great for Lois, but a little better for Peter.
Squeeze, squeeze.
We're gonna give this one a B. Not bad for a one-off joke, but this idea gets expanded upon much more later down this list, so keep watching to see where that one lands. And in Road to Germany, we finally land on the most well-known version of Stewie's time machine in the series. So during a party, Mort accidentally mistakes the time machine for a porta potty and gets sent back to World War II era Poland. Hopefully this was before he potentially defecated all over the machine.
Can't you just press a couple buttons and bring him back? No, he can't just come back. He needs the return pad.
Ah yes, the return pad. The thing that never seems to work consistently and changes its power source every other episode.
The transfer circuits are powered by uranium and this thing is tapped out.
Maybe it's time to switch to USB-C charging. Apple did it after so many years, and Stewie should too. But as most of these time travel episodes go, they get it all figured out just in the nick of time.
Damn it, will you two just get in the time machine?
Yeah, most of their future problems probably could have been fixed by just remembering those wise words. This device would reappear multiple times, from Back to the Pilot, to Life of Brian, to Hard Times at Adam West High. So obviously, this device is going to be our first S rank. It's such an iconic piece of the show's history, having lent itself to several beloved episodes and setups. It's the quintessential piece of Stewie Griffin tech, and it's taken its spot at the top of the mountain. And Stewie would replicate a transporter from Star Trek in order to meet the cast of the show and Not All Dogs Go to Heaven, though he quickly learns why they say don't meet your heroes. So the family's at a Star Trek convention where Stewie's able to purchase some blueprints.
Brian, look, I purchased authentic blueprints to build a Star Trek transporter.
Maybe he can use it to transport himself to a cooler expo. No shade to Star Trek fans, of course, but I can smell that place through the screen. And when Stewie gets passed over during the Q&A, he decides to take matters into his own hands.
You I'll get my question answered one way or another.
Looks like Stewie's about to go through his stand phase. As long as he doesn't drive a car off a bridge with Brian in the trunk, I think we're good.
Rupert, my transporter is complete.
Oh, so those blueprints were legit. The government might want to start hanging around these conventions more. And lo and behold, Stewie manages to transport the cast of the show into his bedroom.
I've transported you all here against your will. I'm a huge fan, and you're going to answer all my questions.
I think the cast might have some questions too, such as how, what, and huh.
Oh my god, I am already having a fantastic time. Ooh, hey, let's spend the day together.
But Stewie quickly realizes that lugging around a group of prima donnas is way more work than he signed up for.
What time do they stop serving breakfast?
It's 3 o'clock.
Some of them serve breakfast all day.
None of them serve breakfast all day!
Maybe one day we can live in a futuristic world like Star Trek where McDonald's serves breakfast all day. I'd boldly go in that direction any day. So Stewie decides it's just better to send them back to whatever hell he pulled them from.
I hope you all die.
Well, at least Stewie can be happy that his invention worked. This gets a B from us. It doesn't play a huge role in the episode, and it does lose some originality points for being from another series, but the outcome is too hilarious to deny. He should teleport the cast of Community in next if he really wants to have a nightmare day. But Stewie would take it a step further with teleporting throughout different realities with a multiversal device in Road to the Multiverse. So Stewie develops a device that allows him to visit multiple different universes with just the press of a button.
Now, in each of these alternate universes, the reality is different than our own. Sometimes only slightly, sometimes quite radically.
And sometimes it's radical like a sick kickflip.
It seems we're in a universe where everything is drawn by Disney.
And sometimes it's radical like, well, like this.
Lois, where is my supper?
Still in the oven.
Will I have it soon?
Quite soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a nifty little device. Now, if only it weren't seemingly made out of glass, cardboard, and/or wet paper.
What the hell, man? What the hell? Look what you did!
Before Stewie does any more devices, he needs to come up with something that doesn't break as easily as a Game Boy. But luckily, a dog version of Stewie has a spare and has perfected how to travel through the multiverse.
We've been jumping randomly from one universe to the next. Did you have the shuffle button on? Oh my god.
Okay, so multiversal travel is highly complex, but also the most brain-dead thing ever. But this device gave us one of the best episodes in the series, so it's going right up to S tier. It allowed for some highly creative setups and scenarios, so it's obviously got to be considered one of the best. But the results of Stewie's cloning aren't exactly the best in Quagmire's Baby, where he creates duplicates of Stewie and Brian that are short on both brains and lifespan. So Stewie needs a hand with his day-to-day operations, so he creates a little helper.
Cancel my Tuesday appointments.
Sure thing, Stewie. You want me to move it to another day?
Kinda looks like what'll happen to Stewie if he keeps hanging around all that plutonium. But yeah, Stewie made a clone of himself to help him out, and he gave him just the nicest name.
I have to remain superior, so I bred out some of the intelligence, made him sort of a simpleton, you know. I call him Bitch Stewie.
Now, is that a biblical name, or is that a cultural name from a land I'm not familiar with? But despite the head full of hot air, the clone seems to be enjoying the simplicities of life.
And all I have to feed him is a crude peanut paste. Watch this.
You know, if you look past the squirting paste into your own mouth, it's honestly kind of a cute relationship. And after seeing this, Brian wants a clone of his own, so Stewie makes him one. Well, actually, clone Stewie makes him one, and you sure can tell.
Hi, Brian. You got some stuff you want me to do for you?
Oh my god.
Well, so what if his brain is a little mushy? He's looking forward to helping Brian any way he can, though it looks like one of his eyes is looking at the wall at the same time.
Brian, I can't go to the bathroom by myself. Will you please help me? But I'm good at other stuff.
But it turns out that they won't be getting a ton of mileage out of these clones.
Well, I hope that doesn't happen to me.
It must do something irreparable to your psyche to see yourself just die like that. But who cares? At least Brian gets a nice snack out of it.
I'm not proud of this, but I need to lick that up.
So even though this experiment can kind of be considered a failure and we never actually see the cloning device, we're still going to put these clones in B purely just because their inclusion is so dang entertaining. But Stewie would inadvertently make a much worse clone in The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair when he tries to increase his own evilness with a neural enhancement device. So when Stewie gets pushed around in the sandbox, Brian theorizes that he's lost some of his diabolical edge.
I think you're going soft. I mean, when was the last time you tried to blow something up or take over the world or even use the phrase damn you?
In this economy, world domination is an expensive endeavor. You either gotta be wealthy, an oligarch, or Mr. Beast to attempt that. But Stewie decides to change that with his latest device.
So I've built a concentrated neural enhancement device designed to boost my evil side.
Seems like a lot of work. He could have just spent a few minutes watching the news. That always gets my blood boiling. But he tries it out, though it doesn't seem to work.
Sometimes you chase helicopters.
That's kind of lame.
But what it did do is create a whole other palette-swapped Stewie. And if there's one thing he's not short on, it's evil.
Ah!
Look, he's still a baby. How's he supposed to know that dogs aren't battery-powered?
Good Lord! I am a genius!
Well, I'm sure you'll feel that way for a few seconds, but you're about to feel like the biggest idiot in the world.
We're going to run a few tests on...
So Brian and Stewie confront the evil clone, but a loss of clothing makes it impossible to tell them apart.
Brian, it's me, Stewie. Shoot him! No, Brian, you know me. Look at me. Shoot him!
Normally, two naked versions of himself would be right up Stewie's alley, but thankfully Stewie's softness is what ends up saving him.
Look at your feet.
Why? They're just feet. What are they doing down there?
And hey, I bet it felt pretty cathartic for Brian to get a chance to shoot Stewie. Now that's a win, though the invention is not. That's why we're putting it in the D tier. It made for a fun side plot, but it didn't really do what it was designed to do, plus we're not really sure exactly how it was supposed to help Stewie.